Hi, this is Carrie Beach from the South Carolina Department of Education Office of Personalized Learning, and welcome to a quick tour of the 4.0 element Teacher Content Knowledge and how it connects to the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. The purpose of this video is to provide a short introduction of how the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes can help you measure growth in the area of teacher content knowledge. If you haven't watched the welcome video in the header of the crosswalk document that explains our overall purpose, we suggest watching that before continuing with this video. The Measuring PCBL Toolkit focuses on 8 outcomes that we believe are distinctive of a high-quality PCBL system. The toolkit was created to help make measuring PCBL impacts as accessible as possible for classroom teachers, school coaches and leaders, and anyone wanting to document the effects of PCBL practices for learners. Let's dig in and learn more about the connections between this 4.0 element and the Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcomes. If you're wanting to measure your impact in teacher content knowledge, you could focus on the student outcome agency. The fundamental purpose of teachers sharing content knowledge and skills is not for students to simply regurgitate information, but for students to be empowered to actually do something with the knowledge and skills they've acquired. We know that in order for students to have agency over their learning, teachers need to be experts in content knowledge so that students know what they need to learn about the content knowledge and what they are being asked to do with that content knowledge. Teachers' use of effective strategies and structures allow content and skills to be understood and applied by students. Cultivating agency within the classroom helps students become lifelong learners who are prepared to engage with the world with curiosity and courage. Students who have agency in their learning are more motivated and more satisfied with their learning. Also, they are more likely to achieve academic success. School isn't just being done to them, they are active participants in their learning and growth journey. Teachers who use strategies to make their content knowledge accessible to students will be more likely to empower their learners to take ownership of their learning. The indicators for the SCTS 4.0 rubric element, teacher content knowledge, and the PCBL outcome agency can work together to support teachers in collecting valuable data. For example, on the 4.0 rubric, teachers are expected to consistently implement a variety of subject-specific instructional strategies to enhance student content knowledge. The agency data collection tool has survey questions that can provide insight on whether strategies used are actually cultivating agency and ownership of learning amongst students. Using the survey questions to find out how much agency students have in their learning can be useful for teachers seeking to grow their instructional practices in this area. Let's take a look at the crosswalk to see how we might use the data collection tools in the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. Let's imagine I'm a high school engineering teacher who desires to grow more in the area of teacher content knowledge because I want to see how my own content knowledge and strategies used with students is impacting how well my students can own their learning. I see that there's a strong connection between this element and agency. So I'm going to click on agency. I see that there are several prompts and questions that I can use to create a survey for my students. I notice that each prompt has a code for which grade level best fits, and so I will select a prompt that best aligns with where my learners are. I might pick a Likert scale prompt for my students to respond to, like, I have clarity about what I need to do in my work, what the criteria for success are, and this helps me work as independently as possible. Or I can work without my teacher's help because I know what I need to do and how to complete it. Then I might also pick an open-ended question like, do you know what the purpose of your assignments are, i.e., why they are important for you to learn? How does it make you feel about the work when you understand why you're doing or learning it? After making the survey, I would give it to one or all of my classes, depending on what I was trying to measure. Once the survey results were in, I could analyze the data by myself, with a coach, or with another colleague to see what I noticed and wonder about what my students are saying about their level of agency. If I needed to follow up and do some small group interviews, then I could. Then I could use the data to make some changes to my instruction based on what my students said. If my SLO was focused on the same 4.0 element, I could even use these prompts as pre and post data related to one of the competencies I might be working to integrate in my classroom. If you're wondering if you can do this with more than one outcome at a time, the answer is you can. You can use each of these tabs as a menu to pull from if it relates to the element you are trying to measure. Now, what if I'm a school leader or an instructional coach? Can I use the same crosswalk? Well, if your school has identified a few of the 4.0 rubric elements that are your focus for the year, then you could ask everyone to focus on the same one or give them a choice between the few. Then, as a coach or school leader, you could create a school-wide survey using the prompts and questions from the data collection tool that apply to the SCTS 4.0 elements that are your focus. Have each teacher give a survey to one class during a given class period, and then reflect on that whole school data or individual class data when you're all meeting as a team. Teachers could set their own growth goals around data from their students. That is just one way that you can leverage the connection between the 4.0 rubric element, teacher content knowledge, and the data collection tools in the Measuring PCBL Toolkit. Now it's your turn to think about which Measuring PCBL Toolkit outcome you want to focus on and explore the survey prompts and questions. We love to partner with educators, so please reach out to your regional personalized learning coach by going to personalizesc.ed.sc.gov/contact-us.